Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hive Doctor, your beekeeping mentor. It's my job to take the guesswork out of beekeeping for you so that you can have fun and enjoy it. Today I'm going to be taking the guesswork out of how to repair your smoker so that it lasts and works for you for years to come and doesn't fail you when you need it most. So stick around. When it comes to our smokers, it's one of our most important tools that we use as beekeepers. It's our knock on the door before a hive inspection to let the bees know that we're coming in and we mean no harm. It's a way to cover up that alarm pheromone because propolis sticks everything together, and as we pop things loose with our hive tool, it sends a loud crack throughout the hive and they respond. But we need them to respond without that alarm, and our smoker is the way that we do that. It's the one tool that we need to not fail us. Now there's two primary things that will fail on a smoker over time and use. I'm going to show you how to fix both of those today, and they're very easy. I've got a busted up smoker right here. It needs the hinge fixed. I need a new pin in the hinge because the old one must have fallen out somewhere along the way. I have no idea where it is. And now my smoker lid is completely off. And when you pop this open to light before a hive inspection, you need this to hang on to the smoker via that hinge. And I'm going to show you this up close while we do this, so don't worry. And the hinge is the way that it does that. We don't need to have something loose, one extra thing to keep track of or lose or accidentally run over. The second thing are bellows. Bellows eventually fail. There's a spring inside, and over thousands of these pumps, it wears out. But not just that. What wears out even more quickly is going to be the bellows themselves, the cover. This is a sealed unit, but with all the folding back and forth, eventually the creases from that will create cracks and ultimately holes, and then our bellows are no good. And our smoker doesn't breathe well. And a smoker really needs to breathe well in order to get a good puff to feed that fire chamber so that we get a nice, thick, cool smoke while we're working our bees. So the first and really quick repair we're going to make today is the hinge and get our lid back on here. All right, so the tools I'm going to be using today in preparation for this job are cotter pins. I've got a pack of 3. I'm only going to need one of those for this repair, but it's a 3 3/32 inch by 1 inch. That's perfect for the size that we need. And I got a small little crescent wrench. This is going to help me reshape the bent hinge to get that pin lined up back in place. This is also going to be useful in removing the tiny little nuts that secure the bellows to the smoker so that we can replace these old bellows with the new ones. All right, so the first thing I'm going to need to do is to reshape this back into place. It needs to be lined up like this one. And this is the part of the hinge that's attached to the fire chamber, as you can see. I'm going to take my tiny little baby pliers, grab this, and just do a twist. I'm going to support this with my thumb so it doesn't bend it any more than it needs to be. Okay, that's pretty lined up, nice and straight. The whole thing could be a little bit more straight compared to the body, so I'm just going to give that a tweak down here near the base. Boom. Okay, I like that, nice and straight. And since this end looks good, we're going to go ahead and put this on just like we normally would when we're working our smoker, but we're going to make sure that we line this hinge up, the 2 hinge parts. Then we're going to push our lid down all the way. Okay, now you notice there's a gap there. I'm going to have to use my thumb to bring that up too while I put the cotter pin in with my other hand. All right, so pushing that up, hopefully it's enough to get this lined up and get the cotter pin through. I'm going to use my tiny baby pliers to kind of smash that through. It's not working, so I'm going to use the flat end of one end of my hive tool. Boom. Okay. Now, if you're not familiar with cotter pins, one end is always just a little bit longer than the other, and that's the end designed to take and bend backwards. So I'm going to grab it with the pliers, begin to bend it, and that's what's going to keep this cotter pin in place from falling out. And it even pulls it in there a little bit more snug. All right, that's bent enough. And if you want, you can even bend this one back so it doesn't catch on anything. So with the cotter pin in, I'm going to test it. Not that I don't think it won't work, but, and right there, that's what our smoker should do. It should flop open just like that, so I can work on packing the smoker, getting it lit, and moving on with my hive inspections. Now we're going to move on to the bellows. All right, so something to keep in mind, if you take care of your tools, they will last you a long time. And of course, an occasional maintenance is going to be required. These fire chambers, these cylinders, a stainless steel cylinder, this will last you for years and years. Bellows are going to be the thing that needs replaced. So if these go bad, don't think you need to throw the whole thing away and buy a brand new smoker. You just need to buy a new set of bellows. And my favorite, personally, from experience, though I'm not affiliated with Dadant in any way, are Dadant and Sons. I've never used Mann Lake's smokers, but these bellows are great. The smokers are amazing. And my particular one has this extra finger guard, and it's because I bought it from the Dadant in Florida. And down in Florida, we light pine needles to use as smoker fuel, and pine needles burn hot. And so they've got this extra finger guard to help against the heat when your fingers are in here. Even with gloves on, you can feel that heat when you've worked 30 to 50 hives in a row. One thing to make sure of when you get new bellows is to flip it over. Make sure all 4 nuts are in place. If you're missing one and you're replacing it with on an old smoker, use one of the ones from your old smoker to replace it. But you're definitely going to need 4 total. And just to explain while we have this off, some of the mechanics of a smoker, when you push on a smoker, the air inside of the bellows is pushed out through this hole, and in from this hole into this breather tube. This breather tube goes in about halfway into the fire chamber, and that's what feeds oxygen to your smoker. Now when you let go of the bellows, it sucks air in here. You notice there's a flap there. It keeps air from going out that hole when you push this. That way it can only come out this hole. All right, enough of that. I'm going to use this same wrench, like I said, and remove all 4 of these nuts. There's 2 on this side and 2 on this side. And I'm going to go ahead and do that quickly so you don't have to sit there and watch me do it, because that would be quite boring. All right, with all 4 nuts removed, this just pretty much pops off. And you see that the threaded bolts are part of the old bellows and they're part of the new bellows. That's why you only need the nuts. And I recommend saving the old nuts if they're still good, because you never know when you're going to lose one off of your new set. So this is what the back of a smoker looks like without the bellows. These are slightly flexible for putting back on. So the next step is just to make sure that you go ahead and take off all 4 of these nuts and not drop them. And then it's just a matter of lining up these tiny little bolts with the holes in the back of the smoker. Now don't try to line up all 4. It might be a little bit challenging. Just get 2 first. Hold that down with your thumb, and then go ahead and put on 2 of these nuts finger tight. That way it will stay in place while you line up the other side. And I'm having difficulty doing this, so I'm going to, there we go. All right, that one's down. Number 1. And number 2. And once these 2 are finger tight, go ahead and flip it over. And now you can line up these holes with those bolts. I'm going to push it in. All right, nice satisfying click. Now we can finger tight those 2, and then ultimately tighten them down with whatever wrench you have available. And there you have 2 easy fixes for 2 of the most common overuse repairs needed on a smoker. Take care of it and it'll take care of you for quite a while, especially when you need it most with those hot, aggressive hives that all of us have every once in a while. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've ever used a different kind of smoker or perhaps a different style bellows, let me know. Let me know if you like it or if it sucks big time. Don't forget to tell your friends about the Hive Doctor. Drop me one of these, and I'll see you in the next video.